Welcome back to Off the Field, where we bring you conversations that don't make the highlight reel. I'm Miles.
I'm Mike.
And that's Obed. And today we have
Isiah.
Isiah Borjon, Nelson University's own. How you doing, bro?
Well, how are you guys?
Doing pretty
Doing
good.
great.
Doing pretty
Nice.
good.
Doing great.
Nice.
Busy week. Busy week.
campus days this week.
A lot of
It's
people out
campus
there.
day. I'm surprised that, well, we're supposed to record today, obviously, but I'm pretty surprised that we don't hear any background, because I know we have all the background going on with the lighting and the soundproof, but I'm surprised that no one came in here and interfered with us.
That's right.
But
that was the one thing I was worried about when doing this. I was like, are we going to hear all the people outside?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fine.
yeah. Let's just start at the beginning. So how's your life been? Well, how did you start in Tulane, California? Tulare.
Yeah. So how'd I get here from well, basically, I mean, long story short, I grew up playing soccer for church, and then after that I did club, and then after that I started doing more club, and then eventually went to high school, and then from high school, that's when my college journey start. I had the opportunity sophomore year to go to Spain, and I played in an academy over there, which was pretty sick. But ever since I went to college, bro, it has been up and down with my journey, which is everything. It's just been crazy.
What age did you start playing soccer?
I would say about 5. Like I said, I started off indoor at my church, which was really fun. It was
I
really
love
nice.
indoor.
yeah. Dude. Were you in a league, or did you just play to play?
I want to say it was just maybe a church league. It wasn't anything crazy, but I remember one time we didn't have a coach, so my dad stepped in, and that was the only time he stepped in, and literally 20 minutes in, one of the kids had a seizure.
That's wild.
It was just crazy.
Dang,
Yeah,
you just had to watch that.
Oh yeah.
Your dad had to specify what was going on.
Dude,
Okay,
he just stepped in, and then boom, the kid had a seizure. I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? It was I don't know what to do.
It seems to be a recurring theme of all the athletes. Their parents end up being their coaches at some point in their career.
Yeah.
That seems to be a recurring theme.
Uh-huh.
Dude, so you started when you were 5.
Mhm.
At what point did it get serious for you? Do you think it was serious from the moment you were oh, I'm playing, this is what I want to do, or when do you think it got serious?
For me personally, I don't know if you ever heard, F2 freestylers?
Yes.
So I used to watch 7th grade, I used to watch F2, these guys who could do crazy tricks with a soccer ball.
Okay.
And they used to have these episodes called Can You Do This? And it's these wild moves they would do. And I used to watch that, and I used to be get obsessed. And I was like, bro, I got to try these out in the game. So this was about 6th to 7th grade is when I started watching them. And then I would wake up in the morning and I'd start practicing and doing it by myself. And I was like, hey man, maybe I could go far with this. And it's just from there, it's just been an enjoyment. It's been a blessing, really.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yo, how was it playing in Spain in the first place? Because I know you came from that journey, and then you got to Spain, and I'm bro, that's such a crazy gap.
Yeah.
How did you get there?
So, like I said, starting, everything good? Oh
Yeah,
Okay. So starting, high school, I was freshman year, I was oh man, I kind of wanted to see how far I could go with soccer. So they emailed my dad. I don't really know how they got a hold of my dad. I think maybe they saw me play somewhere, or maybe they just send a mass email to people. And then sophomore year, I left everything, and that's when I would say I really grew in my faith too. Because about freshman summer year, I went to Christian camp. So I'm from California too. I don't know if I mentioned that. So we went up in the woods, and I was like, bro, if I'm gonna do this, I got to be right with God before I do this. Because I've never traveled. I traveled once on a mission trip, but after that, I never really traveled anywhere. And I was like, bro, if I'm gonna leave, I gotta be right with God. So
I was gonna say building on that, how big of a presence is God in your career as a soccer player?
Oh man, I could go for hours about that, but I think God has definitely been there, and he's a big part of where I am today. I think me being here at Nelson is just him blessing me, and I definitely last year I definitely would have thought I was maybe done with soccer, maybe done with school, maybe done with a lot of things. I was very close to joining the army. I was really thinking my dad, there was some pressure from my dad, but he best intentions. But he's always been relevant in my life, and I think to have that, and to be blessed to be able to know God and be able to growing up in a church. Both my parents worked in the church. It was just now at the young age, I might have not have realized it, but now being able to realize it, it's dude, he has gotten me through so much.
So going back to what we were saying earlier, you said you started playing for a church. What does that mean? Because I know some people play for school, some people play for clubs. What does it mean for you to play at a church?
So it was just a league. They most churches sometimes they'll have for little kids. They'll have leagues and stuff. But so I played for the Nazarene church. So it wasn't my hometown church. It was some church still in Visalia, but just another church that was having this set up for like kids to come out and play soccer. And honestly, I remember my first, so which is crazy. This is just like crazy how God works. So that coach who was originally the coach for my indoor league, he lives here, I want to say like in Texas, near Dallas, I think Fort Worth, which is like, he just texted me the other day, and just crazy like how everything like, you know, like I'm here now and he's over there.
Yeah.
But he was a pastor, or he worked at our church. He was on staff, and he was my coach. And like, just to be able to like be raised up by a pastor to play soccer, and then like, I think it's just like God taking a step with me everywhere I've gone. So like that was just like really kind of like how I got interested in the soccer.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then you start to step up a little bit. You went to Mission Oak or Missy Oak High School?
Mission Oak.
Mission Oak. So like you took the leadership role. You were a captain, correct?
I was.
So how was the experience in high school coming up to that point and going through church and then all the way up to that level?
Yeah. So like I said, the sophomore year I spent in Spain, and then junior year I came back, and like it was kind of a culture shock. Like Spain really, like the only way I can explain it, like they smacked me in the face. It was like, okay, here's reality. Like here's how soccer can
humbled.
Be. Oh, dude, it humbled me, because when I was going there, I was like, dude, I'm gonna play for Barcelona. I'm gonna be on the Barcelona academy. And I got there, I was like, yeah, no. It's like it's gonna take some time. But being able to transition from Spain to junior year of Mission Oak was just really like it was really fun. I mean, I had some difficulties. I mean, there were some players, like I think you're gonna find this anywhere, where you're like, oh, like you went to Spain and now you're here. Like, what are you doing here? And I was like, it's just God like has me here, and it was just it was nice. It was a fun like opportunity to be like captain and then like play at like home, like hometown.
Yeah, it's a calling.
Would you say that playing internationally like probably helped you or prepare you for college, or like do you think it's honestly harder to play international than it is to play at a college level?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I would say honestly, playing in Spain or just playing internationally in general really like shaped me as like who I am today. I think it really like taught me like how soccer can be played, or like football. I like to football. How football can be played. I would say, in my opinion, like in Europe, like football is life. It is like the American football of like over here, or over there. So like I would say football over there is a little more competitive than it is over here.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they start at a younger age too. Like some kids are getting recruited at like maybe 10, and they're getting put into
That's
academies.
wild.
Yeah.
Would you say that? Oh, like this is kind of like a controversial topic. Is it harder international, or did you say harder here in college?
I would say harder international. Yeah.
Yeah.
College is not bad, but I think America has a lot to learn when it comes to playing like proper football.
Okay.
You know? Yeah, but
Would you say an academy would kill our college teams?
ooh, depends what academy. Like if you're talking about like a professional team.
Ugh,
Yeah.
let me get like a mediocre one.
Oh man, it might like.
Sevilla U17.
Ooh, dude. I'll give you a little story. So like I said, sophomore year of high school, I played in Spain.
Yeah.
And I played in something called like MIC. So that's like a Mediterranean International Cup. So like big clubs are there. Like Real Madrid is there. I played against Real Sociedad. And that was the first time I've ever gotten my ankles broken so bad. Like I'm telling you, dude, that's why I'm saying like Spain was such a culture shock. Cause like going there, I was like, dude, like there's no way I'm going to be able to like ever get my ankles broken like that again. Like after that happened, it just dude, they like were playing over me, kicking the ball. I was like, dude, what the heck is happening? Like
that's why I'm a goalkeeper. So that could never happen. No, I've got my ankles broke.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I've got my ankles
Happens to
broke.
anyone,
Like
yeah.
I got faked out every now and then, but that's disrespectful.
I know.
What they
This
did
is
to you.
this is kind of going back to again what we were talking about earlier. How did you even get the opportunity to go international? Because I know like it isn't just something you can just like choose to do. Correct?
Yeah.
You had to actually have to like work towards it or get the
Yeah.
possibility to do it.
Well, I would say for academies sometimes, and like anyone who's interested in academy should really do like the research. Sometimes it's kind of like if you're good enough, you can make it, but then you have to pay. And that's where I think really God blessed me and like my family blessed me. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was actually confused about that. So they have to pay internationally too. I thought it was just America because the American system is kind of corrupted with how expensive it is. Like if you're rich, you have a better opportunity. It's like that international too.
Yeah, it is like because sometimes I feel like if you've grown up in that country, it's easy for you to like get into a team and club. But like a lot of like Europe knows that a lot of Americans want to come to Europe to play soccer or football or soccer.
Yeah.
It's like literally the best there. So sometimes academies can be a little expensive. Like I got into academy and basically I had to pay some money, but like it was just God blessing me being able to like raise that money, and my parents helped me a lot. Like shout out to my parents. Like if it wasn't for them, I definitely wouldn't have been able to do anything. The sacrifice they took, all the extra time and just like believing in me, because like it was a scary thing to go there all by myself.
Yeah.
But that's why like I feel like my relationship with Christ grew, like being away from home.
Where did the idea of going internationally come from? Like, because was this something you always wanted to do, or you're getting better at soccer? You're like, okay, if I want to get better, I know I have to go there?
Yeah, I think it was just I loved soccer, and like I said, the first time I went international was to a missions trip in Moldova, and which is crazy because the people that we met in Moldova, one of their daughters go here to Nelson.
Really?
It's
a
like
player?
No, it's a girl. Her name's oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name right now, but oh my gosh, I forgot her name, but like she's super cool, and like I see her all the time, and like it's just crazy how God wraps everything.
Dude,
around.
all of these like situations, like first it was your coach at your church, right? And then this random girl, like this is crazy.
It's the Lungus. It's Caleb, and I am blanking on. She's gonna not like that I forgot her name, but I'm blanking on her name.
Don't worry, we'll block her on like every single platform so she can't see it.
We'll just put it in like underneath the video. But
no,
shout out to
she's so nice, and like I said, when I first got here in Dallas, like they picked me up, they got me over here, they clothed me and everything, and like they gave me a whole bunch of stuff, and it's just crazy. Like I went from missions to Spain and then over here, and it's just I think God just has a like sometimes like a funny sense of humor.
Yeah, God, a sense of humor.
Dude, it is a sense of humor.
Yeah, God does have a lot of callings, and like from the start when you're in high school, how did you even start getting yourself recruited out to like colleges in America when you were back?
So there's a website you can get, and I really recommend it to a lot of high schoolers too. It's called NCSA, and I think some people have heard of it, and you pay like a price, and then from there you're able to like email like almost I want to say every college in like America. And what I did, because like I'm from Tulare, and Tulare is a very small place, and there's not a lot of coaches going there to like look out. And like I wasn't really too familiar with ID camps. But what I did was I emailed like so many D1 coaches, and like it was like a mass email. Like I emailed this coach, and I actually got it was like so I graduated 2020, and it was like in COVID, so I was able to get blessed to go to Gardner-Webb University, which is a Division I school. But I almost had the opportunity to play for UCLA. So
really,
yeah, they
Dude,
looked at me
huge.
and they sent me like, hey, we're gonna come out. And then COVID happened in one of my club's games, and they said, hey, like you could come to an ID camp, but like for right now, we can't send any scouts out there.
Dude,
Dang.
COVID screwed up so many people, man.
Dude. But I feel like sometimes I like ask God, like if I went that direction, would I still be like the person I am today?
Yeah.
And maybe He saved me from something, because like I feel like when I went to Gardner-Webb, I was kind of unprepared.
Yeah,
like mentally and like just like in my mind and all that stuff.
Was it like any adjustments to the level of play, or was it just?
No, I feel like I really adjusted well. I would say the playing style was a bit, American. I like to play more technical, and they were more like, hey, let's just run the ball. Let's just see what we can do. But just being able to go there, and I love North Carolina, but I feel like I just didn't feel like that was a place for me. And I was going through a lot, and this is why I think it's important, like when you're in college, and I think it's very important, like the people you keep close, because I was in a relationship. And COVID happened, and like that really messed up a lot of people, a lot of players. So for me, I wasn't able to play soccer. They canceled like our whole season.
Yeah.
So it was just training, and we like barely had any scrimmages. And then I want to say about 2021, unfortunately my grandma like passed away because of COVID. And then I had a girlfriend break up with me. And then after that it was COVID, and it was like a year of depression.
Hits.
And I probably never felt distant from God. And I felt like that's where anxiety kicked in, a lot of stuff. And like, even though it was the worst like moment of my life, I can look back at it like now and be like, okay, like God, you were working something in me. Like, even though like it sucked, like you were doing something in my life.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Would you how big of a difference is it playing for like in high school and then now in Division I and NCAA? How big of a difference is there?
There's a difference, and honestly, like I don't know how to explain it, but like it's really just like players who want to do the best they can. Like in high school, you just have players who want to do enough, but in like
They just want to play.
They just want to play. Yeah, but like like they won't really practice before. They just want to step on the field, get some playing time. But like in college, especially Division I, like it's like every free time you have, you're trying to train.
Yeah.
Like because you could take anyone's spot and anybody can take your spot too. But
It's
like
life or death.
Oh, dude, it is hard, but like it's not impossible. And I think sometimes people think like to play to the next, like my dream, and I'm praying to God about this, and like hope He like opens the door for this. But I want to play at the next like level professionally.
Yeah.
And I feel like it can be done, but it doesn't matter what school you go to. Like I feel like God can do it. Like even if you go to like I don't know, like junior college or something.
Yeah.
How do you deal with like? Because I know this doesn't just go with soccer, but this kind of goes with everything in general. How do you deal with like being teammates with people, but also knowing that they're there to try and not take your spot, but they're there to
Like build you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, this is what I love about God. And like, I know I keep like bringing this up, but like discernment, like that's the only way I could describe it. Like, the great thing about Mike and being able to meet him, like I can discern that he's a good person of character and like he loves like what he does. He's a good Christian. And like he brought me to church, my first time when I was here.
Oaks, baby.
Yeah. Oaks is nice. And
Shout out to Oaks.
Yeah, shout out. But yeah, it's really discernment. That's the only way I could describe it, is like God really is going to put the people in your life. And, it's up to you. It's up to you if you want to be with good people. It's up to you if you want to hang around people that are not going to uplift you. And I think God has always put in my heart to always trying to find a church. Like anywhere, like any school I've gone to, it's always been like, okay, I need to find a church. Yeah. And then let's see like, what happens and the friends I meet. But yeah.
Yeah. So what really led you to design the Leave Garner Web?
I think, combination of depression and like, honestly, I don't think I really thought it through. I know I wasn't happy. Like I'm not going to talk bad about the coaches or anything, but I just don't think the coaching style was for me. I don't think I felt like I really fit in. And it was hard being away from home and like, even though it's like 3 hours, I've done like in Spain, but like the 3 hours was still kind of hard for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. The distance probably sucked too.
So then what led you to, what was the next college you went to?
I did junior college after that. I don't know if it's in my note.
Sick.
I don't know.
Yeah, college is a
I don't know how to say that.
Yeah.
So what led you going from you're leaving this other college? What pushed you towards this one?
It was safe. And dude, that's when like I said, it was 2021, so it was fall when I transferred over there. And
we're just now getting out of COVID too.
Just out of COVID, and like it was still in my head one of the hardest years of my life, because going from D1 to junior college, like it messes with your head a little, because now you feel like you're not like, as good as you were. And I had a lot of self-doubt, and, the coaches, unfortunately, like the coaching, they didn't really like me at college. Like I was always there. I was always there on time. I was always like giving 100%, but like I wasn't seeing the playing time.
Really? So
like not seeing the playing time after playing at a Division I school. And then some of the players were kind of mean. They're like, oh, you went to D1 to junior college. Like everyone's going to bicker sometimes.
Yeah.
But like that was like mentally, like I feel like I'm glad I went through that, because now like I feel so like mentally prepared, like no matter what life gives me. But like that time, it was one of the hardest moments of my life.
Go
ahead.
You think those experiences like helped you build as a better person?
Oh, definitely. I feel like it taught me patience. It taught me I it's crazy. So I sat the bench as much, like I didn't expect to sit the bench, but like I was sitting the bench a lot over there. But it taught me how sitting on the bench, like you can uplift players on the sidelines. And like that's crazy, because it's like we would like, maybe someone did a bad pass, but like if you get here on the side, like, hey, like, pick yourself up, like that really actually like gets you hyped.
I don't think what people understand is just because you're on the bench doesn't mean you're not in the game. Because sometimes, like back when I was in high school and I played basketball, if we're having a bad game and I saw people on the bench hyped up and like, giving their 100% just to be there, it really pushed me to want to work harder, because if they're giving all that they can on the sidelines, why am I not giving all that I can in person?
Yeah, it really fuels you, man. It's so inspirational too, especially like I think it's really just a vibrant kind of thing, especially like Miles' perspective. We were down 3-1 in our state championship game, and the like our school is really small. We only have like around 600-ish kids, and it was just like everybody was there, and everybody was just hyping us up, telling us, come on, let's go, because the crowd was there, because we were playing against like a really good school. And what ended up happening was it was just this one chant, like it was our school chant. Came back 1-4-3, game over. So yeah, it's just crazy. So
atmosphere, bro.
Yeah, basically atmosphere. Did you guys win a championship there?
Yeah, we did. So we won our league, which was never done in like College of Sequoia history. So we call it COS. Like it was never done in their history, and like I got to be a part of that, which was nice. Like kind of like it was just big for me, even though I didn't get the playing time. Like I still played like some games.
Yeah.
But just to say like, hey, like I helped like my hometown like reach something they've almost never reached before, which is like a blessing.
How big of a difference level in skill was it, from going from D1 to junior college?
I would say, what's surprising, and I think, this is just crazy, but like there's some good players at junior college.
Really?
Like I feel like unfortunately, like a lot of colleges are kind of expensive for players to play, and I think there's a big thing, and maybe you can agree with this, the pay to play system.
Yeah, in America. Sucks. In America is probably the most corrupted.
Oh, dude, it's like sometimes you have to pay money, but like there were some good players that I was like, dude, if you like obviously focused enough, because some of them are not focused. Sometimes they're just like, oh, I'm just playing like soccer.
They just want to go to college for the college life.
Exactly, and like I would see some players, I'm like, dude, you could play D1.
Yeah,
like. I'll see that players.
exactly.
I'll see players here, like even in like Dallas and like even on our team. Sometimes, like, dude, if you focus, you can get to that level.
It's even harder the fact of the matter that the reason people go to JUCO is to go to cheaper out, because there's a lot of players that are so good at JUCOs that they go straight D1, or there's some players that go to JUCO that go straight to their national team.
Yeah.
You know, you're also, what makes it worse is you're playing in California, and California is probably known as like one of the most competitive states for college soccer.
But I was also like Central Valley. It's like there's a lot of soccer. There's a lot of potential there. But like, there's not a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
For soccer.
I understand that. That's crazy.
What's like one of the biggest pieces of advice you could give to people who are not giving it their all, but like not just like that, but like you're not focusing? Like if you feel like you could say like speak to all of them right now, what would you say to try and help them get back on track and like, you know?
Yeah, I would say if you're not focused, but you want to go to the next level, because you can want to go somewhere but not be focused, and I felt like I had that in my life.
Yeah,
I would say, dude, like keep up your grades, like as much as like you're a student athlete, and I know that sucks to say, but if you want to play professionally or if you want to play at the next level, you have to get your grades up. So like you just got to really pick up your pants and just like get in there. You got to
lock in,
dude, because there's so many distractions in life. There's so many distractions that can lead you away from going to the next level. So I just say like really focus on that.
How do you manage your academics with you know with sports here?
So like I would say, at first couple of years of college, like my grades weren't the best, and like I'd get in my head, bro. It'd be up and down. But here, dude, I feel like just like one of my favorite classes with like Price, it's like just being able to like sit down on my computer, take some time. I'll like listen to Christian music or indie Christian music. I have a new playlist, and it soothes my soul. That's the only way I can say it. Yeah. And I just started to lock in, and like I've been turning in stuff like after. Yeah.
So what brought you to our school? Like, was it a letter? Was it an email? Was it you reaching out to coaches?
So yeah. So backstory. So I went to Gardner Webb, COS. I did
Fresno Pacific.
Yeah, but I took a year off in Spain again. So I did
What?
I did 2 years in Spain.
I didn't know that.
I don't know if I put that in there, but yeah. So I went. So Gardner Webb, COS, and then I did 3 academies in 1 year. So like one season, or like spring and fall, or fall and spring, dude. And like it just didn't work out, you know. But I was able to like meet missionaries there, which is super nice. But then I was coming back there, and I was praying to God. I was like, dude, I want to go to I want to go to Fresno Pacific. It's a D2 school.
Yeah.
It's in Fresno. It's only about like 40 minutes away from me. So I had to do like a semester of COS college. Because my grades were the best when I left from Spain. Yeah. So I had to like work on my grades, and then I transferred. I want to say 2024. Yeah, transferred 2024 spring. I went to Fresno Pacific, and that like it was a Christian school, but that is where I feel like I let myself kind of go in my faith and for soccer, because I couldn't play the spring season. So I ended up getting like another relationship, and it wasn't good for me, and it wasn't working out. And that's why I think it's really important. Like if you're focused on something, don't let people or don't let yourself distract you. So I did spring, and then, dude, I could talk a lot about fall. I could talk about last fall it was a lot, because, I mean, like, can I talk about it?
Yeah,
like,
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Lock in.
So like, that spring season was really good for me. I couldn't play because I had to get my NCAA eligibility, because when I transferred from Gardner Webb, they're saying you needed like this certain credits. So like I was good enough to go into Fresno Pacific, but I wasn't eligible enough to play. So spring season, I had to work on all my grades again, which was like, okay, but like it kind of sucked. So I got, well enough in the fall to play. And then we got new coaches, and like, not to talk bad about that, but it just completely changed everything.
That happens so much.
Does.
Oh, dude.
It happens so much, especially in college, because a lot of times where if you're committing to a school, the coaches will literally like resign. Like the coach that recruits you will literally leave, and they just be left with another unknown.
Because it completely like changes the atmosphere. Because like while you might not think, oh, just one coach, it's just a different teaching style. No, that one coach could bring like so many different aspects into the life of the sport. They could bring like one coach could bring a whole like faith-based coach style, and the other could just bring we're just going to straight focus on trying to get to the finals and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And going from one to the other, either both ways, like no matter how good it is, going to one or the other will affect the whole team.
Worlds basically colliding, and it ends up being a disaster.
But like, here's the weird thing. Like, I wish it was like one coach went in and another coach went out. Basically, the main coach, the head coach became like the head coach of both the men and women's, kind of like what Caesar is. Yeah. But like, I feel like over here it's a bit better. It's a lot better. But over there he was doing like, he would oversee the women's and he'd oversee the men's. But with the weirdest thing, I've never been on a team like this, is like we had an associate head coach, which I've never heard, but I think that's a thing. I don't know if you guys have heard of
Joel.
Okay, so I wasn't too familiar with that coming here. I never heard of associate
head coach.
Yeah, so like basically what this coach would do is he would run our practices. He would do everything. He would see us, but that our other coach who's been there for like 40 years, he would make the roster, but he wouldn't show up to our practices. So it like that's what was kind of like weird.
Wait, how does that even work though? Because is that even fair?
It's not. It really wasn't.
Because the coach doesn't get to know any of y'all, and while one person could be a little better than the other, there's a whole different aspect. Like you could be giving it your all, and he doesn't know that.
Yeah. So like, and that's what I had I've never had a disagreement with coaches like before, and I'm usually like a chill guy. Like I'm nonchalant. Like, I feel like but like at that moment, dude, like I have never had like as much doubt in a coach before, and like so it was weird because I felt like I was a really good player. I would work hard, but that I feel like there's a lot of favoritism in there.
Dude, that was me in high school. A lot with my basketball. I had played basketball since my sophomore year to senior year, and I wasn't the best. I'm not the best, but I was. I tried. I feel like I tried the hardest on the team, and I would give it my 100%. And I was the best at defensive side of it, but I'd never see the court. And I felt like there's a lot of favoritism in there, and a lot of the stuff that the coach chose to do, and that I can't stand by it, but I'm thankful that he did, because then it pushed me to try harder.
Yeah,
it pushed me to try harder, and now I'm a lot better than I was then.
That's right. That's right. That's amazing. That's crazy. And I will say this, like back to faith, like the devil can use that, or the enemy can use that to like get in your head.
Yeah.
And like that's what was happening because of last spring when I was with that relationship. I broke it off over the summer, and then I came back over here. I wasn't getting playing time. I wasn't feeling like I was a valuable player. I wasn't feeling like really I mattered on the team. And then I had an ex looking at my games, and I'd see her like around school.
Yeah.
And I had the biggest anxiety attacks like of my life. And like usually like I'm, I don't try to let things bother me. But like it just taught me like your actions have consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that whole season, bro, was just the worst. I know I should have been the starter. I know I should have played on the first team, but I was like on the last team, and like it was like misery.
Was there 2 or 3 teams?
It was technically 3. It would be the first team, second team, and then like the reserves. Yeah. And dude, what was crazy is if you're on the reserves, you don't even get to sit on the bench. You have to sit like outside. Like, you have to come to the games, of course, but you can't even like sit on the bench with players.
Oh, that's wild.
And that was like, I've never had that. And I remember the first game, I just didn't go because I was just like, dude, I have so much anxiety, and like I've worked so hard for this, and now I'm back home. I'm not even playing soccer. And that was just a lot. Yeah. That was like too much for me.
Dude, like kind of going back to what you were saying about when you went back, overseas and stuff like that. How did that, like all that movie, you just kind of like every semester you went somewhere else.
Dude, yeah.
How did that not only like affect you mentally, but like faith? Like that has got to take a toll of like, God, what's your plan? Because it feels like it's changing a lot.
I remember thinking when I was in Fresno, like, because the year before that I was in Spain, I remember thinking my faith was so much better in Spain, even though there wasn't like as much as Christian environment, but it was like, I knew that like I couldn't always go to church on a Sunday. I knew that most of the people I was around didn't really believe in Christ.
Yeah.
So I knew like I had to put it on myself to like get into the Word, read. And what helped me a lot, which was crazy. Who's that pastor that came? Robertson, or what's his name?
Which one?
Madu.
Oh, Robert Madu.
Yeah, So I would watch him, which is wild. I would watch him all the time when I was in Spain. I would watch him and all, like of course other people, Stephen Furtick, like some other people. But like it was just crazy. Like I would be watching this stuff and then like being able to come here and meet that person in life.
Dude, this is so bro. That's 3 connections because he was an alum at Nelson. That's
it's just I'd never expected.
Why does this keep happening to you?
I think like faith. I said, I think it's faith. I think just God. He's funny. He's a funny man.
He's a troll.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So speaking of faith, how has your faith really influenced you throughout your journey?
I would say it's helped a lot. Honestly, I think I struggle sometimes in my faith, and there's a lot of like ups and downs. And I feel like as a Christian, you're never going to be perfect, but if you can strive to be your best, that's the best you can do. But like it's honestly, dude, there's been so many times where I've just prayed to God and doors have opened, and I'm like, there's no way that could have opened if it wasn't for Him, or if it wasn't for like, basically just Him.
Yeah. Is there a specific like Bible verse, lesson, or even like a sermon that you've listened to or been a part of that's really stuck through and like been a very influential part in your not just life, but also your career here with soccer?
Yeah, I would say I think it's Proverbs. It's so bad that I don't know this, but it's with man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. Yeah, and I remember I used to put that on my like boots, and I probably should do that now, but I have black boots and like you wouldn't be able to see it. But that would literally get me through a lot. And like even now, like I think it's really for anything. It doesn't even have to be for sports, but if you want to go somewhere, if you want to like achieve something, and it seems like all your circumstances are telling you that you can't achieve it, like remember that verse. And that got me through a lot. Like with man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. And I have reached some like heights that like is only God. Yeah. And I still thank him for that, and like just being able to like have that opportunity.
Have there ever been times where like, because I don't know how noticeable it was, but like people would see the scripture on your boots. Have there been times people like ask you, hey, what does that mean? And you've been able to reach out through soccer or football? I
think about like one or two, like some players would ask, and like that's a great thing. Like you don't have to like convert people, but you can plant a seed. And I remember like I would be like, oh, this is a verse I believe in. I'm a Christian. And it was funny in Spain. I don't know if you guys know this, but like in Spain, if you say you're a Christian, they think you're Catholic. There's like no like difference.
There's no denominations.
Oh, I mean, there's denominations. I think there's like Orthodox and stuff, but like if you say you're Christian, like 90% of the population is gonna believe like, oh, you're like Christian Catholic. Yeah. And I was trying to explain to one dude, I'm like, no, I'm a Christian. Like like
you believe in God.
Yeah, like I'm like it's a little different than Catholicism. It's a lot different than Catholicism. Yeah. And he's like, no, they're the same thing. I'm like, bro, like I can't explain that to you.
That's crazy.
A long process. Yeah. So have you grown as a player throughout your entire journey?
I would say yes. I mean, like being here, dude, it's just been a blessing. I feel like I've really been able to kind of fit in with the team and been able to like really like just feel like a part. Like that's one thing I thank the coaches for, like being, because when I got here, I wasn't even signed. I was a walk-on. So like, yeah. So dang. I just walked into the coach's office. Was like, hey, I played here and here. Can you guys like
wait? What?
I wasn't
You
signed.
Walked in their office?
Yeah, I just walked in.
You didn't even email them?
No, I mean I couldn't because my NCAA transfer, like I have to be in the transfer portal, and I wanted to do everything right. I didn't want to reach out to them before. So like the last time I called him or texted him, because I had his, so I did, so when I came back from North Carolina, I did a drive through like the whole entire like, US. Mm-hmm. So I went from North Carolina all the way to California. Yeah. And we passed through Texas, and I was able to meet Clem and then, España. Yeah. And I got his number. And then like I would say before I came here, I like texted the coach. I was like, hey, like I'm really interested in coming in, like playing with you guys and doing all this stuff. He's like, oh yeah, you just have to put yourself in the portal. And I was like, oh, I'm not in the portal. And coaches can't talk to you if you're not in the portal. Like I think it's illegal.
Really?
So he illegally got
so he didn't talk to me at all. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna see if I could get into this school. And I'm like, God, if you put me in this school, I'm gonna like work hard. Like this is one of my signs that, because it was one of my, I felt like I asked God, if you want me to go to this school, it's going to be one of my signs to continue to pursue you, to continue to be better at like as a Christian, but also like soccer, like the next step. So I just walked into his office, him and Joel were there. I'm like, hey, my name is Isiah. I play soccer. I played here and here. Like, I'd love to be a part of the team. And then like, yeah, it's been nice since then.
Yeah.
So I know you said that you were looking to playing professionally, hopefully in the future. And like, let's say that's not a possibility. Is there? What are you thinking about going into next if football is not a possibility for you?
Yeah, I've had a lot of thought about that, and like as I get older, I'm like, dude, I the doors don't open. Like I have to have something else. Yeah. And I think getting my education is so important, because like if I get injured, if anything happens, like at least they can't take away my education.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if I mentioned this, but my dad, he worked at our church, and he's a media director. So like he worked in the news, and he was able to work at our church. So like he works with cameras, he works with all this stuff. He actually knows Price. They actually did like a shoot together. So like,
really,
which is just it's just wild how God connects all these.
We've got to find a way to highlight every single connection you've had. Yeah, there's been like 5.
Yeah, so I saw Price the other day at Oaks Young Adults, and I was talking to him. He's like, I think I know your dad. I was like, really? I was like, yeah, I did a shoot with him because our church is an AG church as well.
That's crazy.
So yeah, like I've always loved video. I always like making videos, and I think like honestly, I might work in the news. I might do like sports broadcasting or something like that. I just love like working with cameras and stuff. And I think being here, I've learned so much than I've like ever really learned.
Yeah.
So I think like if God calls me into that, then I'm gonna do that. Or like YouTube or something. That'd be kind of cool.
Dude.
Influencer.
If you could go back to your younger self, what would you tell him? Especially through this entire journey of transferring, going through the challenge and like you're going through so much.
Or like, would you even tell him like, hey, don't do that?
Yeah, dude, there's like, so many.
But like, I know, in a sense, if you did that, you wouldn't be the person you are today.
Yeah.
So are there some things you're like, oh, I definitely wish I wouldn't have done that, or are you okay with some of the things that happened?
Honestly, I've thought about that too, and I think every heartbreak, every bad time, every bad decision I've made, like I wouldn't change it. Of course, like I would change it, but like I wouldn't change it because it's brought me to the person that I am today.
Yeah.
Because like if I didn't make that bad mistake, if I didn't meet that bad person, if I didn't like do something I wasn't supposed to and like have a consequence for it,
it would happen later.
I wouldn't have learned. No, it might have happened in the future. It might have happened like when I had a family or something like that. So I think God's really like just brought me like into like a great like area that I am today.
I think one of our final questions is if you could like, what legacy? If you could like, sum your legacy up in either a word or a sentence, what do you think you'd want to leave here at Nelson?
Ooh, I would say, compassionate.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I don't really know how to explain more than that, but just like to have a heart for God, to have a heart for people. You know, like as much as I want to achieve my goals, I still like I'm a person first. I'm not. It's not my goals. The world isn't like based around my life. It's based around other people. And like meeting people, having connections with people. That's the most important thing I've learned from being here at Nelson and like just playing football in general, soccer in general. Like that's what I want to be known for. It's like that. I was a compassionate person.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well. Final, like, is there anyone else you want to shout out or any last things you want to say before we end this out?
Man, I think like my parents, like if it wasn't for you guys, I'm so happy. Like you guys gave me this opportunity. You believed in me. I'd also say, you know, the friends here, Mike, you guys, like I know all the work that you guys do and I know it's not easy. And I know like, dude, you guys are good at what you did. Like I've seen like the Instagrams and stuff. And like, I think God has a calling for you guys too. And I think if you guys keep working towards that, like God is going to open doors because you guys are all, you know, unique and specially made.
Yeah. And this podcast isn't here. Like just it's all because of you guys, you know, not just the people before you, but also just you and the people that we're going to get in the future. You guys are what making our podcast popular.
Oh, dude.
It's
awesome.
Sir.
It's awesome.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. I hope you all have a great day.